All right, what's up, wrestling fans? Got a big show planned tonight. Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Of
How's it
course, we're
going?
going to talk. Of course, we're going to talk about Scott Hall. Got to talk about what's going on with Big E. Talk about some of the WrestleMania rumors, uh, and we'll talk about the weekly shows. Is that what you want to start with? The weekly shows. Joining me, like always, Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, we can start there. We'll start with Monday Night Raw. It was a pretty good show. I thought all three shows this week were pretty good. I thought they were all pretty even, really. It was pretty close. But the big thing that happened on there was they started the show with Owens. Owens did a fantastic promo on the Stone Cold thing. I mean, I think it was a great promo. And about middle way through the show, Rollins was trying to find a way to get into WrestleMania, and Kevin Owens said, you got to think outside the box. Well, then Rollins goes to the ring and calls Owens out there and says that he wants to do the show, do the talk show with him with Stone Cold. And Owens said no. Well, then he said, well, he'll have his own talk show and he's going to have Stone Cold on and end up in a match. And the winner got to go ahead and do the spot with Stone Cold, whatever it's going to be, a match or I mean, I'm not sure where they're going yet with that 100%. But Rollins won. Owens won, and so now Rollins is still looking for a spot at WrestleMania. The big rumors are that it's going to be Cody Rhodes. I think it's a strong possibility. A couple other options. Rumors going around might be Undertaker might show up, and do something. Or another one is Gable Stevens. That's a big rumor because they say that he's going to be as soon as this wrestling's over, college wrestling's over, he's going to be on Raw main roster. So,
He'll be done. He'll be done wrestling tomorrow.
so I mean,
So by the time you guys hear this, he'll be done in college wrestling.
yeah,
Because this
yeah,
won't air till Sunday. He'll finish the day before.
yeah. So,
Probably
uh,
as another national champion. Unless only way he's going to lose is if he just makes a big mistake and beats himself. Because man, he's tough.
I think
I
though,
think he's going to be a big star. I think he's going to be a big star in the WWE.
I do too, and I know Kurt Angle has spoke real high of him. So, and so has Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a big star.
He's one of
Next,
the most athletic big guys I've seen. I mean, for what he weighs, I mean,
yeah, I think he's going to do real well. Uh, Moving on to the next match that I thought was pretty good was Damien Priest beat Finn Balor, but it was a non-title match for the United States Championship. Uh, Austin Theory got involved, and I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I think they're just trying to get. You may see an Austin and Balor feud after WrestleMania, uh, but I think Priest and Balor is going to be a match at WrestleMania. It may be some type of no disqualification or falls count or anywhere, that kind of thing. But which you can sign me up for Balor and Priest all day long. I think it'll be a real good match.
that's what I was going to say. That's a good feud to have right there of them two.
Yeah, I agree.
You think they're
Uh,
going to do something on SmackDown tonight with McAfee and Theory
I would think so.
build,
And
building toward WrestleMania?
the rumors still are that they're going to Vince McMahon's going to be involved somehow, whether he's at match side. I mean, something's going to happen with that. They say so. That could be interesting. I think. Another thing, they did a fantastic tribute to Scott Hall. I think you've seen it.
Yes.
It was a real good tribute to Hall. I really liked it. WWE always does stuff like that, probably better than anybody. So,
I also, yeah, they did. I also saw that promo was talking about with Owens and Rollins. I agreed. I thought that was real good.
yeah, yeah.
Especially Owens. Both of them are good, but are real good on the mic. So I mean, and then having them two wrestle, you can put them two together. It's going to be a good match every time they wrestle each other. I mean,
And they're both really good, but both really creative. They come up with some different spots and stuff. It's not the same match every time. Every time they wrestle, it's going to be a great match, and I want to see it. Just like a
yeah,
lot of people always talked about the New Day and the Usos because they wrestled each other so much. Every time it's going to be a fantastic match, and it don't bother me to see, because it just to me, because I mean I grew up with the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express, who wrestled each other many times. but that was part of the feud. You know, it went on
Yeah.
for years,
But
and so
all the matches were different.
yeah, and I like those feuds. And of course, Midnight Express always had Jim Cornette to fan the fire and
Yeah.
different things. So so I mean, I like stuff like that.
And the
I haven't,
Midnight Express had some interchangeable parts too. So I mean, that
yeah,
freshened it up a little bit because they used what 3 or 4 different guys there.
yep, yep. The other big thing was Riddle wrestled Montez Ford in the singles match. The Alpha Academy attacked, and they threw out the match. But Riddle and before that, Riddle and Orton accepted the challenge from Montez Ford and the Street Profits for the title. But now I think it's going to probably be a 3-way because the Alpha Academy
Yeah.
will be
I saw
involved.
where Orton and Riddle accepted the challenge.
Now, one thing that I thought was interesting, they kind of hinted that the Street Profits turn them bad a little bit. They kind of pointed that direction. So I mean, I don't know, and then that could be to throw you off because Riddle and Orton could be breaking up, or again their sales of shirts and stuff may be so great they don't want to break them up right now. So I mean, it's hard to say.
I'll tell you what, the more I watch that Riddle wrestle, the more I like him.
I mean, they've built some stars. I know people give them a hard time, but Damien Priest, Riddle, Austin Theory, even Otis, Gable has become fantastic on the mic. I mean, he was fantastic in the ring. Now they've given him a chance and an opportunity on the mic, and he's doing fantastic. And he did all kinds of good matches, and the fans never really got behind him. Now he's so over because of his mic work.
And look how many. Look at the guys they have that they're going to be bringing up with Breaker and that Solo Sequoia.
Yep, L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight, Ciampa,
Carmelo Anthony,
Carmel,
Hayes.
Hayes.
Hayes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've got some people.
They got a lot of talent.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Raw was a good show. Next, we'll move on to NXT. They opened the show, which and the ratings are getting better right now. I mean, they're improving little by little. And one reason is because I think they're bringing people like Dolph Ziggler over to wrestle. They had Miz TV. Miz was on and had Ziggler in the ring. It was a real one of Miz's better segments because Miz sometimes for me can be hit or miss on his shows. I mean, his promos are good, but sometimes it's Miz TVs are hit or miss.
Real quick, whose idea do you think it was to start putting some of these guys from Raw and SmackDown to take them down to NXT and like to do that Miz show on there? Because to me, they should have. To me, once TNT TNT started that show or AEW did on the same night,
yeah,
I would have started doing that then.
yes.
Why wait till now? I'd have started doing it then because everybody already thought NXT as your minor leagues. If you'd have started bringing guys then, it would gave NXT more credibility.
Well, look at it, Chris. During that war with NXT and AEW, they were only when they beat them, they only usually beat them by 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they'd have brought some of their stars over to NXT, they would have beat them.
And I mean that was the WWE's third brand. They're supposedly minor league. Now they're definitely minor league, and they're still beating them, and they're beating them by more, but they're only beating them by about 300, 350,000 now. So I mean,
but the more they start bringing these bigger stars in, I think they might start beating them by more.
Yeah, I agree. They had on that show there, you had Miz, you had Rude, you had Ziggler, of course, he's the champion now, and you had Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Fans will tune in to see who's going. Fans will start tuning in to see who's going to show up.
I think smart. I would say probably Bruce Prichard's idea. But again, I mean, that was Triple H's baby, and Vince was going to let him sink or die on his own, and now it's not Triple H's baby. It's Vince's deal. So they're going to pull out more stops, which seems weird to do it. Why didn't you do it before? But well, another thing to have. Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, they set up a match during that segment on Miz between Dolph Ziggler and LA Knight. LA Knight came out and challenged, and so they had that match at the end of the night. We'll get to that here in a second. Santos Escobar defeated Cameron Grimes in a fantastic match, and it was a qualifying match for a ladder match at their Stand and Deliver, and so he's qualified, so he'll be part of that match against Carmelo Hayes. I think there's going to be another 3 or 4 guys in that match, but it was a real good match. So Escobar qualified by beating Cameron Grimes. A wrestler, I don't know if you've seen him before. He's the first wrestler from Spain ever in WWE. He's called A Kid. He goes by A Kid. He's a fantastic. He wrestled Kushida, and it was another real good match. And he beat Kushida in his first debut. Of course, he'd been in the UK. He was their that champion, that cup champion they have, where they do the he was their champion there for about 6, 7, 8 months. He's pretty good. Ciampa came out, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a retirement speech or I'm moving on to the main roster. But thank the fans. And Tony D'Angelo interrupted and challenged Ciampa at Stand and Deliver, and Ciampa accepted, and D'Angelo took him out with a crowbar, and so to get some heat and stuff. So that should be a real good match. Be interesting to see what's going to happen with Ciampa. Next, Ziggler beat LA Knight, another real strong match, and Ron Breaker showed up and challenged Ziggler at Stand and Deliver. So that show was a lot to set up Stand and Deliver, and next week probably will be some too. Again, the shows were pretty even this week. I don't know which show I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go ahead and go through AEW, and then I'm gonna make a decision what show was my show of the week. Next, AEW Dynamite. The main event was Scorpio Sky. He retained the belt over. Now that wasn't the main event, but that was one of the big matches over Wardlow, and MJF came out and cost Wardlow the championship. So I don't know. I'm not sold on Scorpio Sky. I mean, they left him.
I think that Wardlow could be a big star.
I think he could be a major star because the crowd's really behind him. He speaks real good on the mic, and they never let him speak really before. So
and he has the look. I mean, he's a big dude, athletic. He has the look. He can talk. I think he could be a big star.
I just don't know.
I really enjoyed that promo he done last week. I thought that was great.
I don't know. Can he go a 15, 20-minute match? So, I mean, that'd be interesting to see. But, yeah, I think the sky's the limit on him. I really do. The next segment was Chris Jericho. He came out and presented his new group, which is the Jericho Appreciation Society, is the name of the group. And he did this purposely to get the crowd mad at him. But the crowd loves him so much, they're not going to really be mad at him. It's hard to make him a heel because he's so loved. But he told...
Yeah, he'll be a heel, and they're going to sing his song when he comes out.
Yeah, and he told them that he is not a pro wrestler. He is a sports entertainer. And the fans booed some, but it's going to be hard to get him to boo him. He's going to have to do something really, really dastardly to get him to really boo him.
Because he don't. I mean, honestly, he don't even have to play entrance music.
Yeah,
because they sing his song.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. But we'll be interested. I just don't know if we'll see if Garcia and 2.0 step up and can if anybody can help get them over, it'd be Jericho. So I'm not saying that them guys are bad wrestlers. I'm not saying that. They're just pretty well unknown.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But if anybody can do it, Jericho will. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Next, they had a kind of a squash match: Moxley and Danielson against Chuck Taylor and Yuta. Yuta got some pretty good spots in, and at the end, William Regal, which is just doing great, come out on the mic, and Danielson had mentioned Yuta before that he would like to mentor Yuta. That was before Regal got involved. Well, he jumped in the ring and he's interested, and William Regal smacked the heck out of him and told him he wasn't ready yet and called him Sunshine. You know how Regal talks. And said he wasn't ready, showed guts, but he wasn't ready yet, and leave his ring now. So he left, and that's going to be something interesting to see what happens. The next was the Hardy Boys debuted, wrestled Private Party, and it was a pretty good match. I mean, I don't think Jeff moves near as well as he did at one time with all the the high flying stuff. I think he pays for it some, but the fans love the Hardy Boys. I mean, they always want to. Uh, the thing that was a disconnect for me was you had Private Party wrestle the Hardy Boys, and Private Party was part of that group with Andrade and the Blade and the Butcher and all them, and they never showed up to come out and help them, or, help Hardy, the Private Party or anything. You thought they would have, you know, extended that story. So that didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it was a decent match. The main event was Thunder Rosa in a steel cage match against Britt Baker, and Thunder Rosa won the championship. Pretty good match. It wasn't near as good as that hardcore match they had before. I didn't feel. It just seems like I don't know. I don't know if Thunder Rosa can go. I don't know if Baker can keep up with it. So not to say
Baker's
Baker.
she's not that good she's not that real good in the ring. She's better than what she was. She's gotten better, but she's not at that level of some of them other women. Which AEW's whole women division to me struggles.
But I
You got a
think that,
couple that are pretty good, but other than that, they're not. It's not very strong.
but if they can put the right people with Thunder Rosa,
Yeah,
Thunder Rosa I think is the right champion. So that'll be interesting. Again, this show was kind of like NXT and Raw. It's kind of building up, for future feuds and for like WWE for Raw for WrestleMania and AEW or excuse me NXT for Stand and Deliver. They don't have a pay per view for 2 or 3 months still, but kind of a reset right now since they had the big pay per view. They're resetting things. So it was
hopefully we'll get some good storylines going.
yeah, I hope so. The one I really like right now is Moxley Danielson and
Yeah.
William Regal. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Man, the 3 shows were so close this week, and all 3 of them were pretty decent, pretty good. But just for me, and I know a lot of people probably disagree, but the matches that to me I liked the best was NXT. I mean, I thought it was a little bit better. So I'm gonna go with NXT, a slight edge over the other 2. Then that's the only shows I got to see this week. So
I'm gonna go with Raw. Just
okay.
just barely a little over NXT. I didn't get to see all AEW, but I saw quite a bit of it, and it was a good show. It wasn't a bad show. But one question, this wasn't on our list, but just something I just thought of. I want to ask real quick. You were talking about Jeff Hardy can't move like he used to be able to,
Yeah.
and part of that's probably because of his the style he wrestles, that flip flop, the high flying, putting your body on the line style. How many years do you think that takes off a wrestler?
Oh, I think it takes. I
You know what I
mean,
mean? All the wear and tear on your body from because that's a big debate you hear in independent wrestling and other things about the guys that are always jumping around, putting their body out there, and then you get
yeah,
the older guys are saying there ain't no reason to do that. So it's always kind of a debate.
yeah, yeah. I think and Billy Gunn and some of these other guys have just talked about AEW that these young guys ain't gonna last if they keep doing what they're doing. So that's a lot of people with WWE. Well, they don't let these guys do some of this daredevil stuff and go all out and all this stuff. Well, they think that they're guys as a
Yeah, they're
superstar, a
protecting their
commodity.
guys. They're
They're a
protecting their
commodity. They don't
investment.
want them. They don't want them to get hurt
Yeah.
and injure themselves and stuff and not be able to perform. So you know, I like the way WWE does it. The only thing that I really would like to see WWE change is let their guys on the mic a little more freedom
Yeah.
and not be such scripted.
I bet
I
you
think that would make a big difference.
there ain't no way to know for sure, but I would just guess that it would probably take I would think somewhere maybe between 3 to 5 years, that it could take off a career
Oh yeah, it
doing
easily
some of
could.
that stuff.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Yeah, that wouldn't
And you
surprise me at all. Well, like Randy Orton.
and look but look what we see some of these independent wrestlers do.
Yeah,
I don't think people understand this. You go to an independent show, you're gonna see these guys do the same thing, the same stuff you see on TV.
yeah.
But they're not getting paid near the amount of money them guys are on
No,
TV.
it ain't even close.
And they're doing the same thing.
Chris, we know some of them guys are getting paid really nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, once they drive to the show and the gas money, they're not getting paid anything.
And go through tables and do all.
Tables and yeah, oh yeah,
I don't think people understand that about the independent guys, the stuff they do to try to get to that level.
yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't understand that at all. But yeah, I think it takes it could take a lot off the careers, and especially with some of these guys. Not that Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy were big guys by any means, but there's some of these guys in AEW and other promotions that are a lot smaller and doing these moves. And I think it could take a lot more off them. Perfect example. How long do you think Darby Allin's gonna last?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
No, it ain't gonna last very long.
the stuff that he does, throwing his body around, he's not a very big guy. Chris, I doubt if he weighs 150 pounds.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Because
well,
yeah,
what
he's
do you
not
want to
very
talk about
big.
next?
Uh, let's talk about Scott Hall.
Okay.
As everyone knows, he uh passed away. Blood clots got him. Out of all the stuff that I would have never thought that would have took out the bad guy. It wasn't a blood clot that was going to cause a heart attack.
I don't know if you got to see the news came out today, and I don't know why they released it myself. I mean, what difference does it make now? But I guess during COVID, uh, he got depressed and stuff, and I guess he got to drinking quite a bit
Yeah,
again.
yeah, I saw that today.
Struggled and health, and that was part of his health problems too. So I don't know why you released
I
that
was gonna say,
now.
what good does that do releasing that?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know why
everybody's
they did
known
that.
that he's had problems. He battled through a lot of problems with the help of DDP. Changed his life
Yeah.
for the better.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, hey,
definitely. Oh,
COVID depressed a lot of people. It changed a lot of people when
yep.
you get in a routine and it gets taken away from you. It can be hard to deal with.
Oh yeah. I agree 100%. Yeah, Scott, this happening got a lot of people looking back and thinking about, how good Scott Hall and some of the big moments he had, and you forget about some of those things because I mean, he was the first one that uh, to come up with that concept. Him and one of the first. I think there may have been more, but it was the first one on a big stage, and they did some matches and house shows to get the match ready for WrestleMania. Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels, that ladder match. So I mean, and it was a fantastic match, and you really hadn't seen anything like that at that time. And he was involved in that, and then the big thing, the NWO angle that they came up with, and he was the catalyst for that because he was the one that showed up in WCW first, and he was AWA tag team champion early on, young in his career with um, Mr. Perfect. Kurt, it wasn't Mr. Perfect time, Kurt Hennig. So he had a great career, and you stop and think about it, not counting his AEW stuff, AWA stuff. Uh, he started in WWE probably around '93. There '93 to '97, and then he was in WCW from like '97 to 2000 or 2001. He went back with WWE for a short time, maybe a year or so, but the demons and stuff, got him and stuff. But so really, his big part of his career was only about 8
Yeah, he
years.
didn't really have a long career where he was in the spotlight like at the big
No,
company.
no, he got to start with NWA in Mid Atlantic, and like I told you before, we had talked about it. He was part of a tag team with Dan Spivey, and it was called American Starship. He was American Starship Coyote, and Dan Spivey was American Starship Eagle, and that was Dusty Rhodes' uh, idea. So,
And
but
Scott Hall was also in the first segment ever on Monday Night Raw.
yep, first segment on Monday Night Raw, and he was a real big star for them in those in your house pay per views and stuff. And I know a lot of people, brought up, well, he never was a world champion, and why not? There's been a lot of guys that could have been deserving to be a world champion, not just Scott Hall. We talked about Roddy Piper. Never had, the only belt he ever held was I think United States Championship in the NWA, and then he held some tag team titles I think in NWA, but in WWE it was the Intercontinental title, and it was only for a couple months. and that was basically to lose it to Bret Hart to help, start pushing Bret Hart up the ladder.
With the Razor Ramon gimmick, he was so far over that he didn't need a title.
No.
I mean, he's
Hall didn't need
supposed to be a
title.
bad guy, and fans would cheer him.
Yep. Oh yeah. He was the first one that made it cool to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Kind of, really.
And then when he went to WCW, he was the one of the big catalysts in getting talking Hulk Hogan into turning heel.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely was.
That was one of the big things that really helped WCW take off.
Yeah, Hall was a real creative guy and real smart about the business and stuff. The other thing that really Hall and Nash did, they changed the business because they was the first ones to get them big contracts and broke down the barriers for guys to get paid big money. They helped that. They really did. I mean, they were, groundbreaking, him and Nash doing that. So,
and they got that was guaranteed, wasn't it?
Guaranteed money, and the way they had it set up, I've heard in interviews, if they bring in somebody else and they make, nobody could make more money than them. They brought somebody in that was going to make more than them, they got automatic so much bump to make more. So they were smart businessmen.
I really hope that Kevin Nash don't get back down and let his demons get him with this happening, because him and Scott Hall were, I mean, they were best friends. I mean, they were real close.
Well, and Triple H and him was close too. And that clique. Hall, Nash, and Shawn Michaels, X-Pac. X-Pac would be one to have to worry about too.
Yep, X-Pac.
He's had a lot of struggles, but yeah, it was a sad thing. But I mean, it's part of life, and like you said, it was just kind of sad because all the things he'd been through, and the blood clots and everything, going for hip surgery, and that cost you your life. But
that's the thing. People will say it's a minor surgery. No surgery is minor. Anytime they're cutting you open, something can go wrong.
Yeah, there's no minor surgery.
All right, well, let's talk about Big E. He got lucky. I mean, that was scary.
Really lucky.
And he got lucky that he's not going to have a surgery, they think.
Yeah, it don't look like. Have you seen the video of him walking around his neighborhood?
Yeah.
He'd been out walking around his neighborhood, and he seems in good spirits. I hope he can.
He could have been paralyzed.
Yeah, former WWE doctor, and came out and said that this could end Big E's career, which it could. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I know they're not have to do surgery or anything, but it could end his career.
Well, yeah,
I hope
it depends on how it heals up. I mean,
yeah, it depends on how it heals, and also what I think he will be back. That's just my opinion, but I think it's going to have to change his style.
Yeah, but look like with Edge, they said he would never be able to wrestle again, and then somehow his body healed up, and he looks good, almost as good now as he did back then.
Yeah.
It's crazy that because he said he was going, what, 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, 9 years. Well, Christian was out for several years, and he came back. So
I wish he would have stayed in WWE, and WWE would have done another run with Christian and Edge as a tag team.
I would have liked to seen that. I think they missed out on that.
I think people would have really got behind it.
And AEW ain't really did a whole lot with him. No. He's basically a manager for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, really. Now he may be helping out behind the scenes and stuff, though.
With that with the Big E thing, I know. I mean, accidents are going to happen, but I mean, whose fault do you think it was? I think from what I saw, I think it was kind of both. I don't think the timing was right. I don't think the timing was right when Big E was going to help get up. I think the timing was off, and that's what messed it up.
Yeah, that's what I think. I've watched it a few times. The guy tried his best to get him up and over, and of course that guy's got to help you. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a combination of both.
I don't know if he started too early, but something threw the timing off.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
And he's lucky that they ain't. He's not paralyzed. I mean, that was.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Very fortunate.
And other big news: Stone Cold Steve Austin accepts Kevin Owens' challenge for
Yeah.
WrestleMania. They haven't said if it's going to be a match or what it's going to be. I'm hoping it's a match, but even if you just have Austin out there in the ring, hit Owens a couple times and give him a stunner, the crowd's going to go crazy.
You know, I'm still wondering if tickets if ticket sales are pretty good, uh, that they might set up a deal where you on Saturday night they do that confrontation and have a match on Sunday night.
They
It
could.
wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all. Um, it'll be interesting to see what they do. So that's the same thing they've been talking about with Cody Rhodes. If he's going to come in, is he going to show up at Raw next week, or are they going? If the ticket sales are pretty good, you just have him show up. You put Seth Rollins in the ring and challenging people. I want a match. I want a match, and Cody Rhodes shows up.
Do you
At
think it's
WrestleMania.
do you think it's a done deal that Rhodes is coming to WWE?
It's been heavily reported by old AEW's lapdog,
Oh,
Meltzer. So that could be just to throw people off. So you don't know. The only thing I will say this: WWE ain't, if it's a work and he's gonna go back to AEW, I would think WWE would come out and say, "Hey, we have no interest in Cody Rhodes, and we're not signing him or something." So I don't know.
Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, that'd be a good match to have at WrestleMania.
Oh, I agree.
And I think the crowd will go crazy if Rhodes comes back at WrestleMania.
Oh, I think so too. I think he's a big get. I really, you
He's
know,
a he's a lot better. He's a lot better get now than what he's in a lot better position now than what he was when he left WWE.
that too. That I agree with. But the other thing is, Chris, he's been on the other side. I always said the grass is greener on the other side, and he's been on the other side. And maybe he's realized, and I can't speak for him. I don't know what's in his head. It could be all just about he's had a kid and he wants to be financially secure and don't care what he does. I mean, that's possible. But he's been on the other side. Maybe he's found a hey man, uh, WWE, some of the stuff they did, they wasn't wrong. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, but if he signs back with them, uh, with all the bad things everybody says about WWE, what's that say about AEW?
Yeah.
Because Rhodes was a executive vice president and leaves and goes back to WWE.
Well, that's what kills me. Everybody will trash WWE, but look how many people that leave WWE go do whatever, better themselves, and then come back
Yep.
to WWE. If WWE was that bad when you were there, it's either the place you went to is worse, or WWE really wasn't that bad to begin
Well,
with.
that FTR left WWE, hated it supposedly, and the way they were treated and the way they were booked. Now they're in AEW, and there's some issues the way they've been booked there. They've come out and said something. The only key difference is there that in AEW they allow them to go out and do house shows and stuff where they can stay busy and make money. So WWE wouldn't allow that. So that's the kind of the difference there. But he in an interview, one of FTR's was asked, "Would you ever go back to WWE?" He says, "Never say never. If the money is right and the situation is right, sure, I'd go back." So,
Well, like Brian Danielson, only reason he left WWE is because he wanted to be able to wrestle some of the other stuff in Japan and stuff like
what
that. That was
that
the
and
main
then
reason
the
he
other
left.
thing, they said Vince asked him, "Why do you want to go to AEW?" He said, "I want to bleed," and Vince said, "That's something I can never give you." And I seen a report today. They did that thing a couple weeks ago with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in Madison Square Garden. Of course, it went on TV, and Lesnar got busted open. And if you need to go back and watch that video because he gets hit with them stairs, and Brock never put up his hands. And they said that he got busted open. He did not bleed.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
And I was watching a match today with Brock Lesnar, and he gets thrown into the ring post.
And like when he
Chris,
started, well, that was a house show, so it didn't matter. But
yeah,
like if that would have been on TV, would they have got the camera off of him?
I don't know. But now they've showed the videos of it on TV, but they didn't. They showed the thing and they showed the blood kind of in a weird angle. They didn't focus right on it
Yeah,
and make it a big gory thing, but you could tell he was bleeding. But in like 2 days, that became the most viewed WWE thing on Instagram ever.
because I mean, like we were at an independent show over the weekend, and the guy started bleeding, and they kicked everybody out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's different. It's a different world than what it was.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. I mean, I don't care if there is some blood, but you don't need to have blood every match, and you know what I mean.
Well, perfect example. Even though I thought the AEW pay per view was really good, you had two matches that had blood, which CM Punk and match, I thought, dog collar matches should have had blood. It should have been brutal. But then you have Daniel Bryan and Moxley wrestling for the first time in AEW. Why did they need to bleed? It was, yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But
Yeah, I think Cody Rhodes is going to show up at WrestleMania, and I agree with you. The more I think about it, I could see him doing a thing with Steve Austin on both nights.
yeah,
I really could. I could see him doing it on both nights. Uh, there was something else I was wanted to talk about that happened in wrestling. I can't think of what it was now. You have anything else on?
well, we'll touch
Well,
on some of the
I meant
independent stuff.
besides the independent. You
No,
know more about WWE or
no, I think I'm good.
all right? Well, independent last weekend we were at WTF Wrestling Theology Fellowship.
Yep.
It was at Mercy Road Church in Fortville, Indiana. It was called the Best. It's a good show. It's a beautiful venue. One of the nicest venues and setups you're gonna see at an independent show.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
It
and
was
there
it
was
was a
some good
solid show.
matches. Jared Kripke and Apollo Star, I thought burned the place down. I thought that was real good. Of
Yep.
course, of course, we know both of them a little bit, so but I thought they were real good. Uh, Jake Carter and Mercer.
Mercer. Yep.
I thought that main event. I thought they put on a show. Mercer Mercer's a strong son of a. He's a
Oh
strong
yeah,
dude.
yes. Oh yeah, he's really strong.
How he can
Yeah, it was
stand on how he can
good.
stand on that rope, holding another man, and do a moonsault.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Moonsault,
You don't see that a lot.
moonsault and battery. It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't see that much. Yeah, it was a solid show. It was a good show.
What do you think the best match on the show was?
The one I liked the best was Kripke and Apollo. That was the match I liked the best. Personally, for me. There was a other couple other matches that were right there with it, but for me, that was the one I liked the best.
That was the one I liked the best too. We got a big show this weekend that we're going to be doing, but
Yep.
that New Era Wrestling for people. It'll be done before people hear this, but they put on a heck of a show as well. We was there a couple months ago. I know it'll be your
This is
first
what
time going in person.
Shamrock Shenanigans.
Yes,
Yep.
and they got a good card there. Kemp and Dillinger, I think, are they're going to beat the crap out of each other.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be a good match. And then you have the beautiful jackasses against the Black Cube Society. That's
Yeah,
going to be
I'm
that's
looking
going
forward
to
to
be a good
that.
one. Brody Botkins is on that card, but I can't remember who he's facing.
That
Johns.
Johns.
Yep, that'll be good.
Yeah, should be real good.
So, I mean, it should be a real good card, and they got a real nice facility there at that Boys and Girls Club there in Shelbyville,
Yeah, I didn't
Indiana.
get to go last time. I watched it on TV, but yeah, I'm excited to go down there and check it out.
And what we got Warrior Pro coming up after that. That's going to be That's going to be a show you don't want to miss. That's on
I agree.
Sunday, March 27th. And they have what is it, Radrick and Dillinger
Yep.
main event. That's going to be good. And then you're going to see what the black market has in store.
Yeah.
I know Dutch Boy and JB are putting their tag team titles up again. I forget who
Oh, you got
against
the
who now.
women's championship match.
Yep.
Couture and Cruel.
That should be real good.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, it should be a real good card.
Yeah, yeah. People should definitely go check out independent wrestling. Like you said, the show that we're going to Saturday. Yeah, it's a real good show. It should be great. That promotion does a real good job. Word Pro's a newer promotion, but that show we went to last time, especially the second half of the show, was fantastic. So I hope people, it's
And
in
if they play the
Danville. I'd like to see
storyline,
people check it out.
if they play the storylines that they built right, uh, this next show should be real good.
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
Then also on Saturday night, which by the time this airs will be over, but you have a show in Muncie, Indiana. The IPW has their I forget what they're calling it, but they have their show on Saturday night.
No lucks
Yeah, no
given.
luck's given. They're having that Saturday night here in Muncie, Indiana. Uh, they got two young guys that I think have a lot of ability with Dalton Love and Luke Savage. So go check them guys out. If I don't care where they're wrestling at. If you get a chance to go check them out, go check them out. They're
Yeah, I
talented
agree.
guys.
Yeah, they are very talented. Of course, me and you are biased on them too. So, but yeah, they're real good young talented guys, and yeah, people should go check out that show and check out Luke and Dalton and check out IPW.
And then also, I know it's still a few weeks away, but on April 9th, I'll get the exact name of the show, but we're going to be broadcasting the show it's a benefit show for a kid that has epilepsy. And all the money these people raise is going to help this kid. He has to have he's already had 3 brain surgeries, I think.
Yeah,
Getting ready to have 3 more.
yeah, he's had some major issues.
I mean, if you can get to the show, if you're looking for a show to go to, go. I know it's in Jeffersonville, Indiana, but if you can get down there, go support that show. They're doing it for a good cause. I
Yep,
know
I agree.
Rikishi's going to be there. Uh, the ladies' man Mike King will be there. I know Jordan James is on that card. I'm not sure who all else, but just from the names, just them names there, it's going to be a good card, and it's for a good cause. So if you're looking for a show to go to, or you're looking for a cause that you want to help out, go check out this show on April 9th. Because I mean, this kid can use all the help he can get.
Yeah, I agree. Hey,
It's going to be a
real
big
quick,
show.
while I'm thinking of it, I got a topic I'd like to throw out, and people to watch the show, and maybe we can get some wrestlers to uh, tell us something, what their opinion is. With WrestleMania coming up, either their favorite WrestleMania match or their favorite WrestleMania moment.
Okay, yeah. Favorite WrestleMania match or favorite WrestleMania moment? Just
Yep.
send it to one of our social media pages, or send it to me. However, as long as you get it to us, we'll see it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a good topic, and hopefully we can get. I'm sure we can talk to some of the wrestlers tomorrow and get some responses. But then we also hopefully some people that watch the show will respond.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I do too.
And
And
then
also, don't forget the 16th. They got
that's what I
the
was getting ready to
Bearcat
say.
Rumble.
Yep. What did I say? Also, we got a big show in Muncie, Indiana on April 16th, and it's to support the Muncie Central High School wrestling team. And all money that's made on this show, ticket sales, everything goes to Muncie Central wrestling team. Last year, DCCW raised a lot of money, a good amount of money. There was a lot of help to the wrestling team. I know their goal is to even want, they want to beat that mark. They even want to raise more money this year.
Yep.
And from the things I'm hearing, I think it's going to end up being a real good show.
Yeah, I think so. I think hopefully maybe Monday when we do Coondog Corner, we do every Monday at 7 o'clock, that they'll have some more information and tickets out and posters out hopefully. And
This will be this Bearcat Rumble #2, and the
yep,
first Bearcat Rumble last year was a great show.
yep,
And then I know the month after that, in May, they have another show that's for Jay County Wrestling.
yep.
So I mean,
And they've already announced their main event guy star for that, and so the Pope. So yeah, it should be a real good show.
I'm trying. Oh, WCWO! Can't forget Joey Owens and the boys down there in Indianapolis every Friday night.
Yep.
If you're looking, if you're looking for something to do on a Friday night, you can't beat it for $12. You can go watch some high quality independent wrestling. I
Yep.
mean, I know if you go on the last Friday of the month is where they kind of end their storylines. It's like their bigger show. Uh, it they're good. I know we're planning on going next Friday for that. But if you're looking for a place to go watch some independent wrestling, I highly recommend WCWO.
Yeah.
When you first see the building, you're going to think this building's big enough to have a pro wrestling show. But when you get inside, it's a cool atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're really up close to watch the show. All tickets are $12. Be the best $12 you ever spent. So.
And they have a good group of young talent over there, and I think they have one of the best. I think they have one of the best training schools in the state right now.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one thing they've been doing here lately. They've been bringing back some of their old WCWO legends. A
Yeah.
few of those, sprinkling them in. So it's a good mix. Good mix.
Uh, trying to think. No, I was gonna say it's been almost a year, but it hasn't been a year yet since we was doing the wrestling. Today was a year since we started doing the sports stuff.
Yep.
Illinois getting beat 12-3
Man.
with there's still 15 minutes left in the first half, but okay, let's see. Who I think this is another topic we should put out there sometime is get like a vote of who people think the best independent wrestler in the state of Indiana is. Do a
That's
poll
tough.
and see like what kind of results we get. I think it'd be interesting
Yeah, I'd be interested.
because I can make a case for for quite a few of them.
Yeah.
I mean that Mercer's been impressive every time we've seen him.
Mercer, G.W.R, uh, the Havoc's one of our favorites, so
Yep.
really like him. Kripke goes all over the place and is a crowd favorite wherever he goes, Jared Kripke. So, I mean, there's a lot of really good talent out there. Now,
The
I will say
highlight
this. I
reel.
don't, just personally, and we ain't seen every tag team in the state. We haven't. But as far as tag team goes, I think there's the highlight reel. I don't know who. We've seen quite a few tag teams, and really none of them have really measured up to the highlight reel for me. For me, that's
No,
just my
me either.
personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They're That's what I was getting ready to say. That the highlight reel, I think, will be in a big company here. I don't think it'll be too much longer. But within a year, I'd say within a couple of years, I think they'll be somewhere. I
Yeah,
really do.
should be.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, you got anything else
Nope,
on the
that's it.
independent scene other
Nope,
than
I'm good.
go support independent wrestling, especially here in Indiana? You can find. I don't. I mean, Indiana's a wrestling state because you can find independent wrestling all over the state. Usually, almost every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday somewhere.
Yep.
Because I know. I mean, I know a lot of these guys that wrestle every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I mean, there's plenty of promotions out there if you're a wrestling fan to go watch wrestling and support these guys on the independent level because they don't make a lot of money doing it. They do it because it's their dream and they love it.
Hey, Chris, real quick before we leave, don't forget also on April 9th the show in Kokomo.
Oh yeah, April 9th, AACW. Don't want to forget that show. And you guys will be listening to this on Sunday. On Monday, the 21st, March 21st, Monday, March 21st at 4:30. Was it 4? Either 4 or 4:30. I think it was 4, wasn't it? The other one's 4:30. At 4 o'clock, we're going to have the owner of AACW, Shane Calstert, will be on the show. He'll talk about the show on the 9th, and we'll talk about just a lot of different things in the wrestling business. He's a good guy. He's been on the show once before, and AACW put on a good show there in Kokomo, Indiana, and they have a good loyal fan base down there, or I should say up there, I guess. But I'm not going to lie. I wish we'd have been able to go to this one, but hopefully when they get their date out for the next one, we can get to it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because I thought they put on a good show, and I think this new venue is going to be good because from what I just read earlier, at that last venue they couldn't do anything. I mean, the ceiling was low, so they couldn't. Was limited on what they could do.
Yep.
I guess at this new facility they're not limited to what they can do. So. So that to me that means the show's probably going to even be better than what it was last time, because now the wrestlers have more things they can do in the ring.
Yeah, if you like old school wrestling, Kokomo would be a great place for you to go. They're a really good promotion, and it's kind of really old school. So I think a lot of people will enjoy it because I really like it.
And then April 4th, we're going to have one of the guys from AACW on. That's the Monday before the show. The marvelous Mr. Bell, Jordan Bell, will be joining us. You know that's going to be a great conversation.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the real good managers in the state of Indiana. And we've seen him do a little bit in the ring, and he's not terrible in the ring either.
No.
He's a good guy. It'll be a fun conversation on the 4th.
I know he does very well. He's there to get the crowd going, and he does a great job.
I know he has some things going on. He's been doing the podcast with the Hollywood House. He's been helping on the In Your House podcast, which is a good podcast. I recommend going and listen to it.
Great podcast.
So we drop episodes every Sunday at 9. If there's certain topics that you guys would like to hear us talk about, send them to our social media. You send topics in, and we'll use them topics for our next show. So send them in to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room, or you can send it to me at Chris D. Gonzalez on Facebook. Either way, I check all the stuff every day, so either way we'll get it. But yeah, if there's certain things you want to hear us talk about, just either hit it in the comment section or send us a message on one of our social media sites, and we'll get that into the show. But you have something?
No.
Other than that, I think we're done for today. Well, we got 2 weeks before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to be 2 weeks, just a little over 2 weeks from WrestleMania.
Yep.
That's going to be. It should be a real good show. I'm interested to see how it does doing the 2 days. And I'm interested to see how many tickets they sell. If they feel that if they do 100,000 2 days in a row, man, that's crazy.
I mean, that'd be great, but heck, if they do 80,000 2 days,
yeah,
that's pretty phenomenal.
Yep. But all right, I want to thank you guys for watching Gonzo's Wrestling Room. Don't forget what you can see in the ticker down below. We're live Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern with Easy Money, a sports betting show. Come join us. We're giving out winners on that show. And then we're also live on usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. with GSR Gonzo Sports Room. Sometimes we change the time of GSR if we have some interviews or something, but it's always in the evening time. Like tonight, it's going to be at 11, but we always have it. It just sometimes switches times. But thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next Sunday. And make sure you support independent wrestling.
Yep. Have a good weekend.